Hello students, let's go to the next topic of our syllabus. That is nothing but a excess of pressure across a free surface. Excess of pressure across a free surface of a liquid. So we have seen surface tension, then we have seen the factor affecting the surface tension also. Angle of contact also we have finished. Now in this topic, what we have to see here, suppose this is the liquid. We have taken three different liquid in these three different figures. So these are the two and this is the third one. So these three figures are there. Figure A contain the liquid, figure B contain different liquid, and figure C contain again different third type of liquid. And according to type of liquid, the shape get formed at the top surface get changed. Here it is a plane surface, here it is topmost convex surface, here it is topmost concave surface. So this is the example of pure water with pure glass. This for mercury, and this example for kerosene. Okay, kerosene get rises to the edges. Adhesive cohesive forces, if you remember, this already we have seen the molecular forces, expansion of surface tension on the basis of molecular forces. At that time we have seen this mercury, kerosene and pure water, if you remember that video also. Now let's go here. What we have to see, excess of pressure across the free surface of liquid. So this is the free surface, this is again the free surface, this is again the free surface of the liquid. Okay, their shape get changes according to different type of liquid we have taken. Now what are the pressures across this surface? To consider that, let us consider 2 point A and B. Let's see here, A is point little bit above the surface, B is point little bit below the surface inside the liquid. Same thing here, A and B, A above, B below. Again here same, A above and B below. So here just name get changed. So make it correct it. So it should be A above and B below the liquid surface. So in all these three cases, we have taken a 2 point. One is above the surface, free surface of the liquid, other is a below the free surface of the liquid. So what we have to find out? We have to find out pressure at A and pressure at B. Where the pressure is same, where the pressure is greater, that part we have to consider under this diagram only. So let's start with this. The first we have taken FA is nothing but a, if you see here, FA we have taken here also, FA we have taken. A correspond to atmospheric pressure. As this beaker was kept in atmosphere exerted some pressure or force on the surface of the liquid. That is said to be atmospheric force, represented by Fa. Now let's start with the plain liquid surface. This first figure, this is for plain liquid surface. So if you see the surface of liquid, it is exactly plane and horizontal. In this situation, pressure at A is equal to pressure at B, and this is equal to atmospheric pressure A, PA. So pressure at A and B is same, and that is equal to atmospheric pressure if the surface of liquid is plane horizontal surface. Now let's go to second part. In this part, if we consider convex part is there, and this Ft is nothing but what? The resultant force due to surface tension. Ft is resultant force due to surface tension, it is moving in downward direction. At the same time, Fa, atmospheric force, is also moving in downward direction. So resultant force is more in downward direction. The resultant downward force is what? Ft due to surface tension plus Fa due to atmospheric pressure. That's why resultant force is more in downward direction, and that is the reason why pressure at B is greater than pressure at A here. Pressure at point B here, this B point is greater than pressure at point A because resultant force is moving inside the liquid, because this is a mercury. It has larger cohesive forces. That's why pressure at B is always greater than pressure at A. Now from this we can say upper part is concave, but inside the liquid is convex part. Sorry, upper part is concave, but inside the liquid this is a concave part. So we can say pressure at concave part is greater than pressure at convex part. A comes in convex side, this is convex. B comes in cavity, concave side. So pressure at convex side is greater than pressure at convex side. That you have to remember. This topic we have to use in next topic we have to use this. So in this case, when the liquid surface is convex, upper convex, it is seen that pressure inside the liquid at a point B is greater than pressure outside the liquid A. That means concave part pressure is greater than convex part pressure. Let's go to figure C. In this case, we have taken liquid such that it is nothing but what? It will create a concave surface like this, upper concave surface. Now here the resultant force due to surface tension move in upward direction Ft, Fa come in downward direction. Resultant force due to surface tension Ft goes in upward direction, and force due to atmospheric pressure comes in downward direction. And due to this case, in this case, the resultant force, atmospheric force, is greater. That's why the atmospheric pressure or pressure at point A is greater than pressure at point B. In this case, pressure at point A is greater than pressure at point B. Again, if you consider this concave part pressure, means point A is greater than convex part pressure. So pressure at A is greater than pressure at B. Now from this three diagram, what we can conclude? The excess of pressure, when we find out, when the surface of the liquid is exactly plane horizontal, the pressure at both sides is same. PA equal to PB equal to atmospheric pressure. When convex part at the top is there, it is again seen that the pressure inside is greater than outside. PB is greater than PA, or we can say pressure at concave part is greater than pressure at convex part. Third case also same. It is again the pressure at outside point A, that is point A outside the liquid, is greater than pressure at B, means pressure at concave side is greater than pressure at convex side. So from all this thing, if the surface is plane, the pressure from both side of the point, outside and inside point, is same. If surface is convex, pressure at inner side is greater than outer side. Pressure is concave like this, pressure at outer side is greater than inner side. In concave and convex, it is seen that whenever there is a cavity, from that side pressure is more. So this is the point that they have to explain in this. Now let's go to next topic of the same topic. Next topic, that is nothing but our explanation of formation of drop and bubbles. So might be all of you are wondering about drop and bubbles. When we have seen in rainy season, have you seen any drop which has a shape of triangle, which has a shape of sphere, which has a shape other than the sphere? Suppose whenever rain fall down or some water get fall down from the tap of a tap in our house, at a tap, water drop by drop it is falling down. If you observe the shape of drop or bubble, soap bubble, it is always spherical. It never be triangular, it never be square, it never be rectangular. Why so? Because of surface tension of the liquid. It will try to minimize the surface area, and that geometrical form get formed, and that is nothing but a sphere is only one geometrical part where we get a minimum surface area, and that's why the shape of drop or bubble is spherical. Now here we have to explain the formation of drop and bubble here. For that, let us consider here, I have drawn one diagram. From this diagram, if you see, let us consider this is a solid part. It is a bubble or drop. Let's start with the drop, then we elongate to bubble. So let us consider this is a drop. The dark line we have drawn, dark sphere, it is a drop whose radius is r, and here this drop, inside the drop the pressure is Pi, outside the drop the pressure is Po. Outside pressure is Po, inside pressure is Pi. We know that inside pressure must be greater than the outside pressure. Why so? Inside pressure of the drop is greater than outside pressure, because when we blow the balloon, we have to blow the air. So when we blow the air by some force in that, so inner side pressure is greater than the outside pressure. That's why when we burst that balloon, we hear some sound, because inner pressure is higher than the outer. It gets released in the atmosphere. Same thing here. Now here inner pressure is greater than outer pressure, so Pi is greater than Po. Now what we have to do, little bit, just I will just write down here first the first surface area when the bubble has, drop has a radius r. Write down the surface area. So area of the sphere is what? A1 when it is a drop having a radius r, and we know the formula for area, it is 4 pi r square. So it is 4 pi r square, area of the bubble whose radius is r. Now what we have to do, just try to blow some air in the bubble, drop. Try to blow some air in a drop so that its dimension get increased, so its radius get changed by delta r. Radius get changed by small delta r. Delta r is so small that it does not affect that much the pressure inside. Inside pressure is almost constant, so that much small delta r is. Now here find out the area when we blow the drop by some pressure. So just suppose that area is A2, it equal to 4 pi. Now what is r? It is r plus delta r. So we can write r plus delta r whole square. Now apply the formula, a plus b whole square, a square plus twice ab plus b square. Just apply it, 4 pi into bracket r square plus twice r into delta r plus delta r square. So that is the formula we have applied. Multiply 4 pi to inner side, what we get? We get 4 pi into this r square, 4 into 2, 8 pi r delta r plus 4 pi delta r square. And as we have assumed already, this delta r is so small that there should not be change in the pressure inside a drop. So if delta r is very small, its square is very small, so this number is very small, so we can neglect this. 4 pi delta r square, we can neglect this, so we get here A2 equal to 4 pi r square plus 8 pi r delta r. So we get the area after blowing some pressure inside drop, and this is before blowing the pressure. So find out change in area. So we get here change in area dA equal to A1 minus A2, sorry, A2 minus A1. Change in area is higher minus lower, so A2 minus A1. So put this value, A2 is this, so we can put 4 pi r square plus 8 pi r delta r minus this 4 pi r square. So if you put this minus 4 pi r square plus 4 pi r square cancelled out. What is change in area then? Change in area is 8 pi r into delta r. Now whatever we have blown some pressure inside so that its dimension get increased, that work done we have applied, that work done itself stored in the form of surface energy. And if you remember, we have already derived an equation that we give the relation, that is work done applied is equal dW equal to T into dA. And this work done itself we have applied by blowing some pressure to increase the dimension of the drop. So that dW equal to T into dA. We know this, and this dW itself will be stored in the form of surface energy. That already we have derived the equation. So we reach to this equation. So put the value of dA here and rewrite this. So we can write dW equal to T into dA is this 8 pi r into delta r. Suppose this is equation 1. Okay. Again, by formula for work done. Work done is what? Force into displacement, we know. It is force into displacement. Displacement is delta r. Suppose force is F. So dW equal to F force into displacement is delta r. Suppose it is equation 2. Okay. So we have written the force into displacement is nothing but again work done. So we have written that value here also. Now here we get work done from equation 1 and 2. Left hand side is same. Before going in further, so let's see, this force means what? We know the pressure. Pressure equal to force divided by area. So this implies that force equal to pressure into area. Okay. What is the change in pressure? Pi minus P0. So we can put here Pi minus P0 into initial area. It is 4 pi r square. That is the value of force. We can put this value here. So we can write this as Pi minus P0 into 4 pi r square into delta r. So this together is equation 2. Now we have the two equation. Equation 1, that is give the dW. 2 also gives the dW, that is both case we get the work done. So equate this equation. Equate and rewrite this equation. So as left hand side of both the equation is same, right hand side of both equation merged be same. So we can write this equation further as just equate, left hand side is same, so right hand side merged get same. So just I will write here T into 8 pi r delta r, that is equation 1, equal to Pi minus Po outside the bracket 4 pi r square delta r. So we get this equation. Out of this equation, if we see delta r from right side, delta r from left side, cancelled out. Pi from left side, pi from right side, cancelled out. 1 r from left side, 1 r from right side, cancelled out. Divide both sides of equation by 4. Divide both sides of equation by 4. 4 by 4 is 1. 8 by 4 is what? 2. So we get this equation. From this, find out this pressure Pi minus P0. We can write this as Pi minus P0, change in pressure, that is equal to what? What is remaining here? Twice T, everything is cancelled, and here R is remaining, so divide by R. So this equation Pi minus P0 equal to twice T by R. This equation gives what? Twice T divide by R. This equation give us a change in pressure, out inside pressure minus outside pressure, that was given by twice T by R, and this is the equation for what? Drop. Remember, this is the equation for drop. What should be the equation for bubble? Now let us consider this is not a drop, it is bubble. Bubble has two surfaces, inner surface as well as outer surface. So surface area of bubble is double. In case of drop, this inside there is a water. So outside only single surface drop has. Bubble has two surfaces. That's why this change in area, for bubble, it should be what? It should be 2 into 8 pi r delta r. So this would be the change first. Change in double area it has. So we should take 2 into 8 pi r delta r as it is. So this would be the change in area in case of bubble. Now if we put this value in work done and rewrite this, what we get? We can write the new equation here. For same concept is there, only difference is what? We have replaced now the drop by bubble. So bubble has double surface area. So what we can write? We can write a work done for bubble. For bubble we can write, for bubble which has two surface area, we can write one equation for work done as dW equal to Pi minus P0. Okay, Pi minus P0 we have written already here somewhere. So Pi minus P0 into what we write? We should write a area 4 pi r square delta r, that is force into displacement, and this must be equal to what? The another equation of work done, that will give what? Twice into 8 pi r, 2 into 8 pi r delta r. Initially we have taken this only, now we have multiplied by 2 because it has two surfaces. So we get this equation. Now if we solve it further, if you solve this equation further, we get further details, and finally just solve it as previously we have find out, and find out the pressure Pi minus P0, that is equal to 4T divided by R, and this is equation for pressure for a drop. Initially what we get? Same equation we get for drop, but for drop it is twice T by R. For bubble it is 4T, double. Why it's double? Because it has two surface area, inner as well as outer. So this is nothing but a formation of drop. So same formation of drop, or we can say formation of bubble. Now under this there is another topic is there, next topic, that will start with a little bit introduction of this chapter, this topic, then we'll stop, and next video then we'll see in detail. So let's start with the next topic. Next topic is what? Capillary action. Now capillary action is what? It is very important to learn the capillary action. So capillary action consists of one very small bore tube whose dimension is less than 1 millimeter. That tube whose dimension is approximately 1 millimeter dimension tube is there, that is said to be capillary tube, and that action we have to see. Capillary action. So what is the capillary action? That part we have to learn now. So capillary action, in this case, the tube whose dimension is approximately 1 millimeter, very small and open at both ends, cylindrical tube, that is said to be capillary tube. And this capillary tube, when we dip it in liquid, it is seen that in some liquid, the level of liquid in that capillary rises, in some of them it get fall down. That already we have learned. If you remember, when we have started this angle of contact, at that time they have shown these two diagrams, 2.18A, 2.18B, that type of thing, but that is closed at top, but actual capillary tube, it is open at both ends. So when we dip the capillary tube in some liquids, it is seen that at certain liquid, the as compared to normal level rise in the liquid surface would be there, in some of them fall in the liquid surface is there. That if you remember, we have seen mercury where the liquid get fall down because cohesive forces are stronger than the adhesive forces, that we have seen. In case of water or kerosene, the liquid level rises. So that is rise of liquid in capillary and fall of liquid in capillary. How it works, that we have to consider here. Before going in detail, let's see the phenomenon. On page number 42, left hand side, second paragraph, they have given the definition of this. The phenomenon of rise or fall of liquid inside the capillary tube when it is deep in the liquid like a liquid is called capillarity. The phenomenon of rise or fall of liquid inside the capillary tube when it is deep in the liquid is called capillarity. And this physics This physics behind this is said to be capillary action. Action means what? Why the liquid rises or why the liquid falls, that we have to consider here, and that is the action that is said to be capillary action, and the phenomenon is said to be capillarity. Before going into further detail, let's start with some example of this that might be all of you are well known. Just revise it. When we just suppose by mistake in night, suppose light get off, load shedding would be there, at that time we'll glow the lamp. In the villages they will use the wick, and in that kerosene was kept, and there is wick, and that kerosene from the bottom through the wick goes to the top and it start burning. So that wick never get burned. What get burned? The kerosene get burned, and after some time you can see, after 1 hour, 2 hour, 10 hour, 14 hour, it is seen that in that bottle kerosene level decreases, but wick remains as it is. Means wick is not burning, we are burning the kerosene by using the wick. So what is function of wick? Wick will carry the kerosene from the bottom to the top, and it get burned at the top, and continuously wick carry the kerosene. Okay, so that action, by that action, the kerosene from the bottom goes to top is said to be capillary action. Sucking of kerosene at the bottom and shift it to the top. So that is nothing but a capillary action. One of the best example, wick in the lamp. Second, the cotton cloth or rug suck the water. Suppose some water gets spoiled on the floor, we will use a cotton cloth instead of terracotta or another cloth. Cotton cloth is best because cotton cloth has a property to absorb, suck the water, and that sucking of water by cloth is nothing but a capillary action or capillarity. The next third one, the water rises to crevice in the rock. So might be all of you are well known about Sinhagad Fort. If you have traveled, or suppose sometime you went to Sinhagad Fort, or in future whenever you went to the Sinhagad Fort, at very highest point at the top of that hill there is water. Lot of water is there at the top of hill. In rainy season, that water flowing from that hill, that much water comes at the top. Now the question comes, how the water rises to this much height? That is nothing but this capillary action. The water rises up the crevice of the rocks. Rocks are there. Rock absorb that water and move it to upward, and finally at the top we get water because rock carry the water from bottom to top. So that is a capillary action. Next one, sap and water rises up to topmost leaves in the tree. Sap means what? Vitamins required by the tree. When we grow the tree is very bigger, suppose in that bigger trees at the topmost leaf, how the water and that particular minerals sap can reach to that leaf? By using the capillary action. It get absorbed from the ground and carried by the different part of the tree and reach to that particular leaf at the topmost, or every part of the tree that can be circulated by using this capillary action. The next one, blotting paper absorb the ink. Suppose we drop drop of ink on a glass and just move the blotting paper or tissue paper near to that. The tissue paper or blotting paper try to absorb that ink, and that absorption of ink by that tissue paper or blotting paper is nothing but a capillary action. So these are nothing but some of the example they have mentioned for capillary action. Now here we have to consider further capillary fall, rise or fall of the level in capillary. I think it is better to start rise and fall of capillary next period. We start this and just we'll finish this capillary and we start the fluids in motion. Now what you have to do, you have to watch my video and just accordingly put a book in front of you and watch the video. And still if you have any problem in understanding, you can contact me every time. Okay, so just again I would like to tell you, don't jump directly to the next video. First of all, start from first video, second video and so on, then go one by one. Don't directly jump from directly to third video, fourth video. Don't do that, otherwise you can't get the basic concepts. Okay, so I hope you got this. Still if you have a problem, you can contact. Thank you.